We got Steve Mowry back here on the program. He's going to be fighting next week at Bellator 215 on February 15th. He's going to be taking on Ahmed Samir Hefny. Steve, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? Good to hear from you, dude.
Yeah, it's good to hear from you as well. Good to see you fight again. We always enjoy watching you fight. You said you knew about this fight. I'm just sort of catching up here on Twitter because, they announced the fight basically today. You've known about this fight for about 5 weeks. Was it the same opponent as well, or did this get switched up at all?
Yeah, it was the same opponent. They were trying to figure out, I guess on their end, they're trying to figure out a fight that made sense to put together. And yeah, so about 5 weeks. About 5 weeks ago this week. 5 weeks, 4 weeks, somewhere in there. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure in relation to what we were talking about, he's known about it for a while. It's not like we just picked a guy up off a bar stool. He's tough, and by most accounts, the people I know that know him say he's tough. He was, I guess, an Egyptian Olympian boxer. So people out here really make it seem like Neil just pick up and fight anyone, but that's not the case. We heard about who he was and what he had to offer, and it's an exciting fight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, here's my question to you, though. If you know about this fight 5 weeks in advance, why Bellator? Why did they decide to hold off on announcing the fight? Because you would think they'd want to, announce this matchup, let people know, do the media rounds, get some, hype behind this fight. Were you told any reason why you couldn't announce it then?
Nope. Not.
Yeah, it's just weird to me, because you're one of the top prospects, not just in Bellator but in MMA in general. I think it's just a little puzzling to me, and I know you don't make those decisions, but why they're not putting more stock into marketing you? Because to me, you're one of the guys that the UFC missed out on.
I appreciate that. No, the only one thing that we were trying to figure out on our end was the date. So it's a doubleheader weekend. And initially, I was supposed to fight the 16th, but it made more sense for me and my coaches to fight the 15th. So that's the same day as my teammates Logan and Matt. So we were trying to figure out the best way to move me back from the Saturday, the 16th, the day they wanted me to fight to the 15th. So the only thing I can think of would be that. Other than that, I don't know. Maybe it might have just been like one of those things. I don't know. It's not. I don't really care about the promotion and the announcements and the prospect tag.
Yeah, you're just paid to fight. You're supposed to punch people in the face, and that's that. You just got to show up, make weight, all that stuff, and leave the rest of it up to Bellator. And I hear you on that. Let's talk about your last fight. You get that beautiful Americana over Ben Moa back in September at Bellator 205. It's always good to get a finish. You must have been pretty happy with that performance.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's all I had to say about it, really. I was really happy with it. And it just felt good to get in there and get out, kind of thing. Like, they tell you all the time about big show jitters and blah, 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 blah. And I didn't really feel like I got hit by that so much as just maybe not the pressure, but I guess the pressure is the best word for it. The pressure to go in there and perform and do something big on my first fight on a big stage like that. Yeah.
No, that's for sure. And, let's talk about your opponent here. Like you said, you've known about him for a while. Have you watched tape on him, or are you sort of at the stage in your career still where it's just like, I'm going to focus what I'm good on and the rest will work itself out?
Well, I try to watch tape when I can, but I'm right there with you on both points. I do watch tape, kind of see what I'm getting into sort of thing. But, as is the case, I can't really control what he does. I can't control who he is, how he fights. I can control how I fight and who I am. So, yeah, that's the deal. I did, as much research as I could. The only tape I could find of him without, paying for a subscription service was, he won a fight in like 11 seconds in his pro debut like 2 years ago. And he looked pretty stellar, but he didn't fight me. So.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. You referenced that there your teammate Logan Storley has a fight coming up. How is training camp going? Who've been some of the bodies you got to work with for this camp?
I mean, we had a lot of really good big guys. So obviously, Linton Vassell was here really pushing me this whole camp. We had Victor Pesta in there intermittently. And then we had a couple other guys, really good amateur strikers, like really good guys on the come up. And then some other dudes on the visit. So like a good friend of mine, Tom Gormley, shouts to him. He's the gym manager, but he might be known to put his hands on somebody. He's tough. He's one of the main training partners here. We had another guy, Tim Daly, come down to help. This guy, Gio Tacos. We call him Tuco at the gym. So if I butcher his name, I apologize. Another dude, Jason Callenbay, like a lot of top tier strikers, pretty much the best group of guys I could ask for to get ready for somebody of that caliber.
And I can't remember if I asked you this last time, but do you have to diet during camp even though you're a heavyweight? Like, you are a pretty athletic guy. I would assume you do, but is that like part of your regimen as far as training camp?
Yeah, cut out all the junk food. I really do a good. I feel like I do a good job of. I really get rid of all the junk food. Yeah, I mean, anytime you eat like crap, especially in a room like mine, I mean, with a lot of the best talent in the world, if any part of your game's not on point, it shows. It shows really quickly too. It manifests itself. So one thing I've really held myself accountable to was, even though obviously the number that hits the scale isn't anywhere close to the limit whenever I step on it, but I can still eat and train and act and recover like a professional athlete. So that's one thing I really try to hold myself to.
Do you actually have to cut weight? I know some heavyweights do.
No.
Okay, I didn't think so, but yeah, you never know. Like, I know Juan Adams in the UFC has to cut weight, which is just crazy. And who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
It'll be Henry, Greg Jones, and Robbie Lawler, of all people.
Ooh, nice. Good to have Robbie in there.
Guys you grew up watching your whole life.
Yeah.
I remember watching Robbie fight, long before I put on 4-ounce gloves, and now he's going to be in my corner. It's crazy, man. I have the best coaches, the best team. I can't wait. It's really exciting.
Like, Robbie doesn't strike me as like a vocal guy, but I would want him in my corner because like you wouldn't want to disappoint a guy like that. I could see like a stern talking to after from a guy like Robbie.
Yeah, and he's not the type to. I mean, the same Robbie that's in the cage is the same Robbie that's in the gym. He's not an emotional dude. He doesn't get swept up. I don't think I've ever heard him talk above the level voice that I've heard him talk about now. Just talking to him like in general. So it's really nice to kind of have that energy, someone who doesn't get swept away with the occasion. And I can't wait. I can't wait to have the level of experience with Henry, the level of experience with Greg, and then obviously the level of experience with Robbie Lawler. We
have yet to see you go the distance in your pro career and in general. How do you see this fight playing out?
I don't know. I don't get the specifics. Steve Mowry with his hand raised. That's all I'm going to say.
There you go. Okay, I like that. After this fight, I mean, the plan is to, two things, I'm sure, to keep active and to, keep moving forward. Would you like a name in your next fight? I mean, this is the second fight for you in Bellator against a relative unknown. I mean, let's be honest here. Are you looking to fight sort of a veteran, like because Bellator has a bunch of those guys already. Do you feel like you're ready for that?
I got to stop you right there. Ahmed Samir is the only name I'm thinking about.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, the blueprint, you got to kind of look ahead a little bit, but you do agree though, you want to keep active though, obviously in 2019.
Yeah, for sure. No matter what happens in this fight, I'd like to stay busy. And when I was an amateur, not just with amateur MMA, I tried to stay busy with everything. I did some amateur boxing. I probably did a grappling tournament at least once a month. And that's one thing maybe that I missed the most about my amateur career was that I was able to stay busy. So I know that in the pro ranks there's a lot more going on, and I'm not 20 years old anymore. I'm a grown man now, so I have to treat my body like that too. So I mean, when you perform and compete at a higher level, you have to take more. You have to be more serious about how you act in between fights. So I mean, a turnaround with a fight every month just doesn't make sense. But that said, I'd like to be a little bit more busy. 5 months is a little bit long for me personally, but I'll see where it goes. Gonna take care of business on the 15th, and then hopefully, Lord willing, we get the win, and we'll go from there.
Last question before we let you go, a little bit off the wall here. Is pro wrestling something you'd ever do maybe after your career is over, just because you are a big athletic guy, you got a good personality? I think you'd fit in quite well there.
I appreciate that. I'll be honest with you. We weren't allowed to watch pro wrestling growing up. My dad forbade it.
Really?
The same dad that, I remember being like 8 years old when I saw the first Terminator, which is not to take anything away from my dad's parenting abilities, but I would not let my age kid watch Terminator. So, I mean, it just goes to show, though. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is pro wrestling was never something I was near and dear to. So, it's not something that resonates deeply with me as it stands. Pro wrestling, obviously, it's got its own world, it's got its own fans, it's got its own, even like a subculture kind of thing. But I don't. Just being honest with you, it's not something that's really on my radar.
Okay. Have you ever watched pro wrestling? Have you ever seen a match or anything?
Probably seen a combined total of 20-25 minutes of pro wrestling.
Did you watch Ronda Rousey at all when she made her debut or anything? No? Okay.
No, sorry.
No worries. No, I'm just curious because, it's interesting. You get sort of the mixed bag when it comes to fighters. Some love pro wrestling like Daniel Cormier, and then there's others that just don't have anything to do with it. Like John Fitch does not like pro wrestling. It's hilarious.
Well, I like, so I did see the clips of Ronda. Like, when I say 20 minutes combined. I really mean 20 minutes combined.
Oh no, I believe you. Yeah.
If it was ever on, like I mean, when I was a kid and it was on at my house, my parents, especially my dad, would have a conniption. You know what I mean? I don't really know what my dad's stigma with it was. You know, probably because back in the day, we're talking about like, you know, the 90s, early 2000s. It was still pretty raw and raunchy and, you know, graphic. But even now, you know, I mean, now that I'm an adult and I came around to it, and just what little I've seen, I'm like, yeah, this isn't so bad. But it's not for me. It's not. But you know, I mean, the clips of it that I've seen, like with Ronda, like I'm like, okay, yeah, I get it. I get why people were swept up with it. It's just not for me. I do like though. So like, I've seen clips of like your what's his name, Ric Flair. I love the quote Ric Flair, but I've never actually seen him wrestle.
Okay, well there you go. Maybe that'll change after this interview. I put some ideas in your head. We'll see what happens. But I'm not a big pro wrestling fan either. Growing up I was, but now I kind of like I pay attention to it a little bit, but not that much. So we're on the same page there. And Steve, I can't thank you enough for doing this, man. For those who don't know, Steve basically we talked. We were trying to figure out a time. Steve's like, I'm free now. Let's do it. So this came together sort of at the last minute. So I appreciate it. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours, man.
So you can find me on Instagram at Tall Steve Fights People. You can find me on Twitter at Tall Steve MMA. That always gets to talk a lot of people. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Thrasher Hemp Shoes, Sunshine Farms. I'd like to thank the 86ers, Novagenics. I'd like to thank all my teammates, all my coaches, all my sparring partners. I really have the best people surrounding me. I'm just so blessed, and I can't wait to put it all on. Can't wait to put on a show on February 15th.